So coming off of the previous chapter, we saw that Maru had decided to kill all of the cursed spirits in Tokyo, and we see that happening at the beginning of this chapter here. And by doing this, he's killing like 99% of the cursed spirits in the world. I mean, I guess that's the implication here. Like, most of the cursed spirits in existence are like centralized in Tokyo at this point. And we saw that he was doing that with Cross, Yuka, and Tsurugi, but considering what we're seeing in this chapter, they were kind of just there in spirit, I guess, question mark, make of that what you will, because we see each of them individually waking up, because Maru healed all of them in the previous chapter with like super reverse curse technique. Again, make of it what you will, it doesn't matter, he just healed all of them. Cross's cursed energy bullet wounds, Yuka's freaking brain tumor, and Tsurugi's fatal slash wounds that he received in his fight against Maru. They're all healed now, they're all completely fine, and it makes you wonder what was the point of any of that if it was just all going to be Deus Ex'd at the end here. I mean, I guess that's this series in a nutshell, but it is what it is. And as for Mahoraga, he's gone too. I mean, of course, he kind of has to be. You know, we saw him fighting against Dborah, but in the previous chapter, Maru was just like, nah, that fight's over now. And he just uses his, at least the implication is that he uses his harmony curse technique to like teleport Dborah out of that fight, gets him the black rope from Africa to nullify the Deskunte chief's curse, and then uses his harmony curse technique again, which, you know, as we said, is being buffed from all of those other elements, and teleports him to Samoria, which is light years away in seconds. That's how powerful he is, which is wild. So now that Dborah has been teleported back to Samoria, the ritual against Mahoraga is just null and void now. This was also foreshadowed by Tsurugi a couple chapters ago, so it lines up, and Mahoraga is just gone. He just goes back to Mahoraga land or whatever. And we actually do get to see what happens with Dborah back on Samoria, and this is my favorite sequence of the chapter. So he actually does what we talked about in the previous review. He goes to the Deskunte chief's bedroom immediately, and he's with two chicks. What a Chad, I know. But he immediately frame mogs him with his sister and just kills him. He blows up the bedroom immediately, and then, like, you know, super speed feeds down to the rest of the Deskunte watching this, and then throws his head in front of them, says that he's going to be the new Deskunte chief, and the first thing that he's going to do as chief is make a shrine to Dborah, because, you know, Dborah was his bro. Dborah was like the Gojo, more or less, of Samoria. I mean, not as powerful as Gojo, but, you know, kind of like him in spirit. And then after that's made, he's going to resign as chief, and then they could just do whatever he wants, because he doesn't know anything about politics, which is great. This is an awesome resolution to Dborah's character. I honestly really like this. Gege cooked with this one for sure. I don't know about the rest of the series and the rest of the character resolutions, but with Dborah, I like this. I mean, yeah, it was extremely rushed, and this would have been way more satisfying if things were actually fleshed out here. Like, you know, the Deskunte chief having more than 4 lines of dialogue, which all happened in the previous page. Also, he has like the mark of null on his forehead for some reason. Like, his eye is different than the rest of them. It doesn't matter. We're never going to find out why. And then that's it. The rest of the Deskunte are happy about this. I guess the chief sucked, which is understandable. He looks like he sucks. But then that's it. That's over. I don't think we're coming back to that. Maybe we'll see a little bit in the next chapter, which is going to be the last chapter of the series, but we'll get to that. So then we come back to the Rumelian ship, which is now parked in Tokyo. And we're having like a council discussion amongst them. And Maru is like explaining to them what he had did in the previous chapter. You know, converting essentially purgatory, or the realm that all spirits on Earth pass through, into like this soul conversion device. And also he explains why the Rumelians were confusing cursed spirits with Kallians, and it's because their souls were all the same color. So he used his curse technique to scatter their color. So from now on, the Rumelians won't confuse cursed spirits with Kallians. However, he couldn't scatter the colors of them separately. So any Rumelians or Kallians who are born in the future will have different colored souls. And Kallians may not recognize Rumelians of the next generation of their own kind, so they'll probably try to eat them. Because, you know, we found out that the Kallians attack anyone who isn't a Rumelian. Like, this is one of the biggest reasons why the Deskunte had beef with the Rumelians. So the whole big issue here is like, hey, do we kill the Kallians All 52 of them that they have on the ship, which I think we're finding out for the first time here, that they brought 52 freaking Callians with them. We knew they brought at least one of them, that big elder one. Or do they just keep them alive and then see what happens? Because Maru was considering just killing them immediately along with the cursed spirits in Tokyo, but he was like, nah, I can't do it, which is understandable. I mean, that's like their sacred beast. It's literally their religion. So instead of doing that, he's asking for the council's opinion, or just, I guess, most of the Remelians as a whole. Like, what do they want to do with the Callians here? Do we keep them alive and risk them killing our future generations? Not to mention how they're going to interact with humanity if they ever leave the ship. I mean, I guess they'll have to leave the ship eventually if they're going to live in Tokyo. But aside from that, I also like how the rest of the Remelians are reacting to what Maru has done here, because they're like, you're committing crimes here. You're fundamentally changing reality for us without even asking us. Like, this is crazy. But it seems like that was just quickly brushed over because Otsuki was like, hey, shut up. So that's it. But that's kind of where that sequence ends. So I guess in the next chapter, we're going to figure out what they're going to do with the Callians. And honestly, I don't know. I mean, I guess the pragmatic thing to do would be kill them. Because it's either us or them, and that's what it comes down to. But I guess we'll see what happens with that. Coming into the final sequence of the chapter, we see Yuji walking down like this corridor that is seemingly a cursed object library. Is this the one from Tokyo High? Do we get to see what that actually looks like? I don't remember. I guess that thing still has to exist to some extent. Or maybe this is just Yuji's private collection or whatever. I don't really know what's going on here. Maybe it was explained in the original series. I don't remember. Let me know in the comments if you remember. But he's walking down it, and he comes across Panda, who is still in his little form. We actually saw this. I think Gege drew this in the new final page of the last volume of Jujutsu Kaisen or something like that, when he drew Yuka and Tsurugi himself. We saw that like Tsurugi had this panda like on his shelf or something, and it talked to him, but then it kind of acted like it didn't talk. And Yuji has it now, and he's just chilling inside of this library place, and I don't know what's going on here. They're talking. He's like, hey, it's been a while, and the panda's like, Itadori. So your guess is as good as mine as to what this means or where this is leading. I mean, I guess it's nice to know that Yuji is visiting Panda, but like, is he just stuck here? Is he just in this library forever, like a toy from Toy Story or something? But as for what Yuji's going to do, I don't know. Like I said, the next chapter is the last chapter of the series, and by last chapter of the series, I don't mean just Modulo. I'm pretty sure Jujutsu Kaisen as a whole is over. I mean, we're lucky that we even got this in the first place. This was kind of just DLC for the original series, I suppose. So yeah, everything will be wrapped up in the next chapter. And yeah, let me know what you thought about all of this in the comments, guys. I know, polarizing just like the previous chapter was, although not as egregious as the previous chapter. But yeah, let me know. And if you liked it, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.